Like the previous class, I do want you to be aware that we are recording this class, and when the class is over, if you'd like to receive a copy of it, we will certainly do that. This is the advanced class. In the advanced class, what we generally cover are those items in the software that people are usually unfamiliar with. People who use the software daily do things like booking appointments, processing sales, etc., closing their drawer, printing out their regular reports, using the basics. In this class, we're going to talk about some of the things that most people are unfamiliar with, even though they are daily users of the software. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is emailing staff. And now, emailing staff, there's several different ways that can be done, and we do have a Darcy marketing class that we talk about other ways to email staff and some of the important things that that can do. However, in this, we're just talking about sending a quick message to a staff member or to the entire staff. So one way we can do it is by going to Setup and going to Operator Files. We can then select an employee and be sure you have their email address in the email field. If you do, and if your Darcy is up and running, then you just click email. Their email address will populate. You can type a subject and a message and hit send. Off it goes directly to that employee directly from the software, from the salon or spa. Now, you can also, however, while you're here, select all. And by doing that, you will then be sending a message to every staff member who you have an email for. So either way, you can either go directly to one staff member or staff-wide and exit. That's one area to do it. Another is in the appointment book itself, I can right-click on an employee and select email. There we go. And you'll see the exact same screen. Once again, type in a subject, type in a message, hit send, or select all and do the same. Maybe you want to let everybody know not to forget about Friday's meeting at 1 o'clock, whatever it may be, and exit. So emailing staff. Now you can do the same thing with client files. For instance, if I was in a client file, let me pull up Miss Babcock here. Whoops, BAB, not AB. And in Miss Babcock's file, we have another email button. And by clicking here, I can type in a subject and a message. Notice there is no select all. If you wanted to send a message to all of your customers, you would do that through marketing. But this is a direct communication with that particular client. You must have their email address on file for that to work. And of course, once again, your Darcy must be up and running. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Darcy is part of your software. And as long as you can get her up and running at no charge, of course. Take the Darcy class to learn more about the things that she can do. But again, sending an email directly to the software. Now, there is a little bit of a difference between a client email and a staff email. Staff email is simply the message you want to send, whereas a client email will have a message you want to send as well as your logo and your social networking icons. So sending something to a client looks much better than sending something to a staff member, as well it should. Okay, so that's emailing staff and or a client directly. Any questions on that before we continue? All right, I'll take by your silence. No questions?
Sorry, we were muted, but nope, no questions. Thank you.
Okay, no problem at all. Okay, then the next thing that we're going to talk about that people are usually unfamiliar with is something called social analytics. Now, in social analytics, I'm going to go here to reports, and I'm going to go to graphs. Under graphs, I've got this button here that says social analytics. When I click on that, yours will more than likely say exactly what this one says. You're not authorized for this service. When you activate your social analytics, like I've done for this 11111 account, you'll see something like this on your screen. And it will be able to show you your Twitter, your Facebook, Instagram, things like that, and show you the demographics on it. Who is paying attention, who you're reaching, your posts, which are most popular, things like that. And of course, we can teach you exactly how to read the information that you see here. Social analytics is yours free of charge, but it does have to be set up. So you don't have it automatically in your system. You do have to request that it be set up, but there is no charge for that setup, and it's brought to you by a company called Social Beautify. Social Beautify does a lot of other things as well, and we recommend at some point, if you are using social sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., you may want to consider visiting their site to see the types of things that they can do for you. It's a very, very powerful tool, and they are specific to the beauty industry. But again, the social analytics feature of the software is brought to you by them at absolutely no charge. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the activity button. Unless you have any questions on social analytics, we're going to go to activity button in inventory. Any questions on social analytics?
Where is this Providence?
No? Okay. So then we're going to talk about inventory activities. So I'm going to go to inventory, and there's an activity button here. So first, we go to a product that we want to look at, like my Just an All-in-One Shampoo by Cameo, and we select Activity. This will show us everything that we've done with this product. And what I mean by that is it will show us our purchase orders that this product was ordered on and that they were received, anytime we made a sale that involved this product, any merchandise returns that were done on this product, and any manual adjustments that we've done on this product will all be listed here under activity. And if you're using password protection, it will even show you the persons or the person or persons who did it, whatever that may have been, a transaction or a purchase order, whatever it may be. If I've got it set on all, I see everything. If I choose received only, then this will show just my purchase orders that I have received, as well as any purchase orders. And when I say received, I'm talking about just this product. Next, we have any sales that were done. So now I'm looking at just sales, any merchandise returns. Notice the question marks. The question marks mean that any of these transactions that were done here, these are merchandise returns. I did not have my password protection turned on, and because I didn't have my password protection turned on, the system could not tell who did it. That's what the question mark is. Notice in sales, I had my password protection turned on here, so I know that Debbie did this sale. For the others, no, hence the question mark. Again, password protection allows you to see who did something in your system. If you're not using it, you'll just have a question mark. It's not a big deal. But that's activity. Any questions on the inventory activity button before we continue?
No, thank you.
All right, absolutely. And it looks like Jocelyn just joined our class. Jocelyn, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, I can.
All right, excellent. Okay, Sam, the next that we're going to be talking about is the month in the appointment book. Earlier, when we were taking our beginners class, we had the debut screen that we discussed briefly. Now we're going to talk about the month view screen. It's a little bit different. The month view screen, you're able to get into a myriad of different ways. For instance, from the main menu, I can select and go to month view, and there's my month. I can, from the appointment book, choose month view.
I told her that you would call her just to
find my point of sale screen.
reassure
I'm
her
also
that the scheduling is. I mean, I tried to, and she's just like, I don't know if you really know what I want.
I've got a lot of background. Go ahead and mute you. I apologize for this. By muting you, you're still able to hear my voice, but now I don't have any of that background noise. And don't get me wrong, and don't worry about it. I will unmute you after every section so that you can ask any questions. So every few minutes I'll be unmuting you, no problem at all. But this way, by limiting that amount of background noise, we're able to get through this a little bit easier. So if you have questions as I'm going and I haven't unmuted you yet, please be sure to hold those until I've unmuted you. But like I said, every few minutes I'll be unmuting you, so you'll have lots of opportunities to ask your questions. Okay, so let's talk about month view screen now that we talked about the different ways to get into it. So I'm going to go here to appointments and month view. Right now I'm in the month of May, but remember today is May 25th, so most of our month has already passed. The day that we're currently on will be in italics, and any days that are black are days that you can book appointments. Now, if every single staff member was booked completely on the 30th, then the 30th would be grayed out, just like my Sundays are grayed out here. And so you would know immediately, just by looking at the calendar, that you would not be able to book appointments on that day if, in fact, it were grayed out. Next, I get to choose a particular staff member. So I'll choose someone like Ashley. Notice what just happened when I chose Ashley's name. Wednesdays and Thursdays just grayed out as well. And that tells me that I can't book an appointment on those days with Ashley. Then I can choose a service. let's go with someone like Christian here. I use him for just about everything. And again, those days have re-highlighted. The days in black, darker black anyway, are going to be days that I can book for him for, and then I can choose something like an anti-curl with haircut. Now that's an hour and 45-minute long appointment. If he did not have a full hour and 45 minutes available on any of these darkened days, that would tell me by graying out. So for instance, he might have had a half hour available, or even an hour available, or even an hour and a half available on the 30th. But if he didn't have a full hour and 45 minutes available, then the 30th would have grayed out, once again leaving me with just the days that he would be able to do this appointment. Then I can choose a particular day just by clicking on it, and it will show me the time available on that day that Christian would be able to book that appointment. By the way, you can choose more than one appointment as well. So let's also go, we chose an anti-curl with haircut. Let's try a blow dry and curl as well, which is an hour and 15 minutes. So this means that I would need a full 3 hours available for Christian on a particular day. If I chose the 25th, these are the times that I would be able to book for a full 3 hours for Christian. Any of these days may have grayed out if he didn't have a full 3 hours available. But once I've chosen a particular day and I have times, then I can choose a customer. So I'll go with, let's go with Kathleen Dale here. Choose her client type like I do whenever I'm booking an appointment. And now I can choose a time, like 3 o'clock. So now I'm saying that on Thursday, May 25th at 3 o'clock, we're going to book Kathleen Dale for an anti-curl with haircut and a blow dry and curl with Christian. I can now select book it. The appointment has been booked, and cancel. Let's take a look at our appointment book for the 25th. And we should be able to see under Christian's name, Kathleen Dale for an anti-curl with haircut and a blow dry and curl, which is precisely what we see. So it booked very nicely for us just as we wanted it. So again, I go to appointments and month view, or I can go to the appointment book and month view, and we can do it all over again. Let's just take a peek here now. I'm going to choose Christian. Again, any days that he doesn't work would have grayed out. I can choose a service like an anti-curl and haircut. Look what just happened. The 25th just grayed out. He does not have a full hour and 45 minutes available on that day, but he does have it available on the 26th. It makes it a very quick and easy way to find the days or times available for a particular operator for a particular service. I'm going to unmute everybody right now. You're now all unmuted. Does anybody have any questions on the month view screen?
Nope.
All right. Okay, so moving on. The next thing we're going to be talking about is locking and unlocking column. So what exactly does that mean? How does it work? Well, let's say that we had appointments for Christian here, and you'll notice Christian, if I jump to another group, like for instance nails, Christian does not work in my nails group. He does, however, work in my hair group. There's Christian. Now, let's say that I've got a bunch of appointments booked for Christian, and I want to see his calendar, but I'm about to go to a group that he doesn't work in, and then he'll disappear. Well, I don't want him to disappear. I need to be able to see his schedule for whatever reason. You can think of any reason that that might come up, but for whatever reason, I need to see his schedule when I go to a group that he doesn't work in. And so I simply go to his block here, right-click, and select Lock Column. Now, we just went to nails, and we saw that Christian does not work in nails, but we're going to go there again, and look, there's Christian. We've locked his column. Any group that we go to, his column will come along to us. Now, does that mean that now he works in nails for this day? Absolutely not. If I were to try to book an appointment for Christian, it would tell me in the nails group, it would tell me that he does not perform this service. This is simply so that I can see his column even though I am in a group that he does not work in. Next, when I am finished viewing his while I'm working in this group, I can press unlock, and if he does not belong in that group, his column will have vanished. That is locking and unlocking a column. Any questions on locking and unlocking a column before we move on?
No, I'm amazed. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you like that. Okay. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is refunds. Now, everyone's familiar with refunds because if you use the software, it happens sometimes where you've got to refund something. But what people don't know oftentimes is exactly how the refund button works as far as mixing and matching refunds and sales on the same ticket. Oftentimes people will just do a refund like this. They will pull up a customer like Julia here. They'll click refund and she's returning a product like the Just an All-in-One shampoo that Lizette sold. So Julia here is returning the Just an All-in-One shampoo. This is a negative amount. Fine, no problem at all. But what if she was also getting sales on the same ticket? So let's start over here. Let's pull up somebody who's got an appointment, like Angela Gabusi here. Angela saw Maureen. She got a head massage 90 for $100. If I check this box, that does not turn this into a refund because it was pulled up under sales. However, anything I do now is going to be a refund on this ticket. For instance, I can say that the Just an All-in-One shampoo that Lizette sold her is being returned. So now, instead of owing me $100, she owes me $77.06 because she's getting the $21 back plus the tax she paid. She's getting a refund. It doesn't have to just be products, which is another mistake that people make. Because I still have my refund highlighted, I could also say that the last time she was here, maybe she got a, let's say she got a bang trim. And when she went home and looked at herself in the mirror, this is after she paid for her bang trim, she realized, you know what, this doesn't look very good. And she called the salon and said, I saw myself in the mirror and it's a little oblong. It doesn't look right. And they said, you know what, so sorry about that. The next time you come back, we will refund you your bang trim. Okay, she got the bang trim perhaps by Debbie. So I'm going to go ahead and now she got a head 90 from Maureen that she's paying for, but she's also getting a bang trim refund. Because this was blue when I pulled this up, it is a refund. She now only owes me $62.06. However, maybe we're not only refunding her the bang trim, we are also selling her another bang trim. We're doing it right and actually charging her for it. Just uncheck that, go right back, and Debbie is going to do a bang trim. So now I've given her a refund for her last bang trim, and she's paying for a new bang trim. So basically, she's getting this for free. That's another way to do it. Notice what I'm doing here. I am mixing and matching sales and refunds on the same ticket. So she's getting a refund of the Just an All-in-One shampoo, but she is buying the Nail Tech Intensive for $36. So again, I've got sales and I've got refunds mixed into the same ticket. That's all controlled by this button. When this is blue, you are refunding anything you add to the ticket. When this is gray, you are making a sale of anything that you are adding to the ticket. So that's refunds. Now, another thing I want you to be aware of, if it is a positive amount, $116.39 is what she actually owes. If I go to payment, I'm going to accept her payment in any of my normal ways. This is a positive amount. She owes me this money, even though she's getting refunds as well. And I'm going to clear that. What if it is just a negative amount? So again, she is returning the Just an All-in-One shampoo that Lizette sold her. And that's all she's doing. So we've got a negative amount here, and I go to payment. We're not going to be doing a negative amount on a check. We're not going to do a negative amount on a gift certificate or on a series or on an on-account. However, cash and credit card is very common to do negative amounts. So with cash, if I process a negative amount sale for cash, I can pop open my drawer and pull $22.94 out of the drawer and give it to her. The software knows that a transaction for a negative $22.94 has been processed. And because of that, the software will reduce my drawer by $22.94 so that I'm not off at the end of the day. I didn't just pull $22.94 and hand it to her. I actually processed a negative transaction. Also, with a credit card, I can do the same thing. If I'm processing directly through the software, I ask them for the card that they used when they made this payment, and I can actually put that $22.94 back on their card. Or if I'm not processing directly through the software, I'm going to give them their refund in my machine outside of the software, but I'm still keeping a record of it in the software so that the software knows that whatever I brought in credit cards that day will be less $22.94. Once again, so that my drawer is accurate and my reporting is accurate. Any questions on refunds before we continue?
Actually, yes, I was just
Go
curious,
right ahead.
how would that affect commissions for a service provider if you're refunding a service?
That's why you choose the person who made the sale. Lizette is going to get tagged. Her commission will be less this, whatever her commission was going to be on this.
Okay.
So for instance, let's say that she made this sale a couple of days ago, and then the customer brought it in, and they returned it. Maybe they were allergic to something that they saw in the ingredients, and they didn't even open the package. Okay, they returned it. You gave them back their money. It was Lizette who made the original sale, so you chose her name. Her commission will get tagged. But what if she made this sale 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and she was already paid commission on it? Then they bring it in, and you choose her again. It's a negative amount. Her next commission will reflect this. So you paid her commission on this for what she sold 2 weeks ago, but her next commission will be less this because it was returned and you gave the money back. So whether it is current on the commission or whether it was a previous commission already paid, she's going to get tagged. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and clear that. Any other questions on refunds before we continue? No. Okay, so moving on then. The next thing we're going to talk about are transaction notes. What is a transaction note? Now, you're probably familiar with notes. In client files, we have a notes button here, and I can add general notes, which can print out, or I can add operator notes, which will not print out, and they're for the operator's eyes only. Also, I could do a pop-up note, which you're probably familiar with, where you put in a note. Anytime you pull this customer up, it will be the first thing you see, like they're allergic to this, or they left their glasses the last time they were here, whatever it may be. It'll be the very first thing you see, that's your pop-up note. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about transaction notes. So what's a transaction note? So Angela Gabusi came in, she saw Maureen, and she owes me $100. Now, Maureen walks up to me at the front desk, and she says, Angela was unhappy with her massage. She said when I was done, her head hurt. And I told her that, an hour or two from now, her head's going to feel great. But I also told her that I was going to give her $30 off. So this is what she tells me. Okay, sure. So I could add a discount, or I could highlight it and modify the price to $70. Okay, sure, no problem. I did that. Modified the price. I can now go to payment and process the sale. However, I know that Maureen has a terrible memory, and Maureen is also very, very anal about her commission report. And there is a very high likelihood that Maureen is going to come screaming and yelling to the boss, saying, why did I get commission on a $100 service at only $70? And God forbid I took this payment in cash, it might look like I pocketed $30. So me being the front desk person and knowing this about Maureen, I am going to go to notes. And I'm going to say, Maureen said 30 off because blah, 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 whatever the reason is, and accept. Now I process my payment. She pays me in cash, and accept, and done. Now, that situation does happen. I do 50, 75, 100, 150 transactions a day, and this was 2 weeks ago. I have no idea why I charged $70 for a $100 service, and Maureen is throwing a fit, and the boss comes up to me and says, what's going on? So, I don't know. Let's take a look. So I can pull up a particular customer like Ms. Gabusi, and I can see that on May 25th, she saw Maureen, got a head 90 for $70. And the boss says, but it's a $100 service. So I highlight that, and any note that I attached to that transaction will appear. Ah, this is why. Now I've got an explanation. Basically, this is a cover your bottom for the front desk staff. Anytime a transaction is out of the ordinary, anytime a transaction is odd, you should just click on notes and say why it's odd, and then process the transaction. That way, if there's any question, no matter how long ago it was, all you have to do is look up that transaction in the client history, and you will see exactly why that transaction was out of the ordinary, instead of looking at the boss and shrugging your shoulders and looking like a thief. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Any questions on a transaction note before we continue?
Not here.
No questions. All right. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to be talking about is modifying a transaction. Now, I highly recommend that you put password protection on the ability to modify a transaction, because only a manager or a boss should have that ability. Why? Because modifying a transaction is a great place to commit fraud and to steal money from the business. Why? Because you can actually create a transaction that is completely legitimate, then take some money out of the drawer, stick it in your pocket, and then go into that transaction and change it later so that the drawer is right, the reports are still accurate, everything is good, and that money's in your pocket. So that's a really dangerous thing. Modifying a transaction is an important tool in case mistakes have been made, which is why we have it in the system. But again, password protection is very important with modifying a transaction. So what does that look like? So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull up a customer. I'm going to go with Michelle Babcock, and I'm going to say that Michelle Babcock saw, let's say she saw Angie. No, she didn't, because Angie doesn't do any services. She saw Abigail, and she got a color one-step. This requires a formula, but I'm not going to go through that. She owes me $66.50. She got an automatic 5% discount because she happens to be a gold member. We're going to be talking about that in just a little bit. But for our purposes right now, she owes me $66.50. And I'm going to say that she also bought a product from Leslie. She bought the Justin All-in-One shampoo. She gets 5% off on that as well. She owes me $88.30. Great. Payment. She gives me $100 in cash. It makes my change of $11.70, and I process that transaction. So there's been a mistake. I was a little bit too fast with my fingers. She gave me a check for $100. I wasn't even paying attention, and I just processed it for cash. It wasn't cash. It was a check. I need to fix that transaction. And by the way, you can fix a transaction that just happened. You can fix a transaction that happened 8 years ago. As long as you know the transaction number or you know the client, you can go into their history and find the transaction. You can also go here to view transactions. And in this case, that was the very last transaction I did. So I just hit last transaction. There it is. Abigail, Michelle Babcock saw Abigail for a color one-step. She also earned points, discount rewards. She saw Leslie for a Justin All-in-One shampoo. She earned points or not, and got a discount as well. How did she pay? With cash, $100, and she got $11.70. Let's pretend that there was a mistake made, and let's pretend that it should have been a record of a check, not cash. So I am going to select Modify, and it will bring up all of the parts of this transaction. Look how many parts there are. Every one of these is a different part. Any part that I need to make a change to, I need to go to that part, make the change, and press Save on every individual part. So here's my first part, and each one of the parts has its own unique record number. Here's the first part on this transaction. I don't need to make any changes here, so I can just click my arrow here and find another one. Okay, good, no problem. Click here, no problem. Click here. Again, this is not where my problem is. Click here, retail sale, no problem. All good. I'm going through it. It's all no problem. Here is where we run into our problem. Payment type. I said it was cash. Oops, it's not cash, it was a check. So I changed my payment type to check. Now I'm ready to go, perhaps. I can also change my description. Right now it says it's a cash payment. No, it wasn't. It was check number 12345 and save. Remember to press save after you make a change. Once you've done that, you can now take a look at your transaction. You gave her $11.70 in change in cash, yes, but her payment was check number 12345 for $100. I have made a change to this transaction. I can do other changes as well. Let's go back into modify. It wasn't Abigail that did this service. Oops, my bad. It was somebody else, like Maureen. Maybe they were booked with Abigail, but when they came in, Abigail, I don't know, she was busy, her first appointment was running long, whatever, and somebody said, you know what, we can fit you in with Maureen. Abigail called in sick that day or something like that. You simply processed the payment, and when you did, you didn't change it from Abigail. Oops, let's change it. So we change it to Maureen and save. Anywhere else that Maureen's name may appear, there's Abigail again, change that to Maureen and save. Every place that you make a change, you must hit save, and Maureen and save. And again, there's Abigail and Maureen and save, and again. Now this one, the product was sold by Leslie. I don't need to make a change there. So I keep going through. I'm looking. Is there any other place where Abigail's name comes up? Nope, I'm good. I've made the changes where Maureen needs to be placed in, and now it's by Maureen. Now Maureen will get the commission on this, not Abigail. If I didn't make that change, Abigail would have gotten the commission. So it's important sometimes to modify a transaction. So I've made those changes. Now Maureen's getting credit for it instead of Abigail. Any questions on that before we continue?
You'd ideally want to make that modification, obviously, before the end of the pay period. Otherwise, there's no way to change it.
Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. But can you make a change from any time in the past? Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Again, highly recommended, just like you said, to do it before they get paid, before everybody gets paid, make sure those fixes are in. But also, it's important to understand that if you are doing it from some time in the past, that your reports will reflect that. Okay? All right. Any other questions on modifying a transaction before we continue?
Yeah.
All right. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is the points program. Now, we touched on this in our previous class. In the beginner's class, we mentioned it. Now we're going to talk about it a little bit more in detail. However, if and when you ever want to actually do the points program and the membership program, that's a class in and of itself. Not one of these types of classes. You would just schedule that with someone like me, no problem at all. So we're not going to actually be teaching you how to do it right now, but we are going to be showing it to you a little bit in depth. So let's talk about it. I'm going to pull up Ms. Babcock again because she, as you can see here, has 2,565 points. So the first thing we're going to do when talking about the points program is show you how it's used. Then we're going to show you briefly how it's set up. So Ms. Babcock, 2,565 points, and if she gets something like she saw Kathy and she got something really small here, we'll go with we'll go with facial highlights, $76, and we'll say she's paying me with cash. There we go, and accept. Now remember, she's got 2,565 points. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to pull up Ms. Babcock a week later. She now has 2,793 points. She earned points by paying me for a service the last time. She can also earn points by buying product, perhaps, if you set it up that way, or by giving me referrals or things like that. But she's got 2,793 points. She comes in, whoops, and she sees Christian, and she gets an anti-curl with haircut. She owes me $171, and I go to payment. This time, she would like to use her points. She has 2,793 points to use. Click. The anti-curl with haircut requires 3,600 points to get it for free. You can set up your points program one of two ways. You can either set it up as a freebie way, which means you must have enough points to get it for free, or you can't use your points. Or you could set it up as cash value, which means that you can use however many points you have to get a discount on your service or product. In this case, she has 2,793 points. She needs 3,600. We put a check in the box, and it says not enough points for this item. So she can't use her points. I've got my system set up freebie, meaning not cash value. Okay, let's try a different way. I'm going to go to Setup, Preferences, General, and I'm going to say that I am going to allow partial point redemptions. You don't have to remember that because you'll learn that when you actually learn exactly how to set all of this up. But because of that, I can go back to payment. She owes me 3,600 points. She's only got 2,793, but now I'm set up in cash value. Click, it will use her 2,793 points and therefore apply a percentage. $132.67 is what it's going to say she's paying. So she will actually only owe me about $39 and change, $38 actually and 23 cents to be exact. 33 cents, excuse me. That's what she'll actually owe me for this because she's using her points to get a big discount because she had a lot of points, but she didn't quite have enough. She didn't have 807 more. So that is using her points as cash value, which I'm not going to do, and we'll clear that. That's the difference between freebie and cash value, the ability to use her points. All right.
Quick
now,
question.
Go right ahead.
Sorry. So when we processed that transaction to bring up the points value, I saw that there was a percentage for the service discount. Is that through the same point system that she's receiving a discount and also accruing points?
Not through the point system, but through the membership system, and they are related.
Okay,
they are
related but not the same. Got it. Okay.
Let me show you something else too. As long as you're talking about discounts, I want you to see something when I pull up Ms. Babcock. Notice she gets an automatic 5% discount, of course, when I do anything. Brazilian blowout, she got $18.25 off because she gets an automatic 5% discount. Why does she get that? Because she is a gold member. She gets an automatic 5% discount. However, there's also this. Notice it says service percentage 5%, retail percentage 5%. If I were to click this, it would give her additional 5% off. Why did that happen? Because in her client file, I have said that she gets a 5% service discount and a 5% retail discount. I can do this without a membership. I can do this without a points program. I am simply saying that this customer can get those off, and then they will appear here, and I can just apply them. But I do have to apply them. So for instance, if I sold her this product, I can then hit this, and it will apply an additional 5% off. Okay, so I just wanted you to be aware of that. But let's take a look now at the points program. I'm going to go to Setup, Preferences, General, and I've got a button here that says Enable Points Program. Now, mine is already checked. Yours probably isn't. But if you check it, it will bring up this window. It looks a little confusing. Don't worry. Like I said, if you decide to go with the points program, we will teach you this. But this is the way I want you to kind of understand it for this very brief discussion. I can set up individual earnings and redemption ratios for individual services and or products. Or I can do it by whole groups, or even for gift certificates or series or referrals like I had mentioned before. And what do I mean by individual earnings and redemption ratios? Well, I could say that for an anti-curl and blow dry, $1 earns 1 point. I could also say that a redemption on this would be 5 points equals $1 for the anti-curl and blow dry. I could do that, but I could also do a really basic one that covers everything. Maybe all of my retails, and all of my retail and services. And I could say maybe $1 equals 1 point and 10 points equals $1. So what does that mean? Earning ratio. $1 equals 1 point. They spend $25, they got 25 points. They spend $250, they got 250 points. Point redemption, however, is 10 to 1. That means that they would need 1,000 points to get a free $100 service. They would need 100 points to get a free $10 product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can set it up either blanketly or individually or by groups or by categories of products or by individual products. So very, very flexible. Then, if I want, I can set up membership programs. Now, I want you to understand something. Remember I told you that the membership program is related to the points program. And what I mean by that is you can have a membership program with no points, but you cannot have points without a membership program. In other words, if you set up your point program, your customers will not earn points unless they're part of a membership. Now, your memberships can be free or they can be charged, and you can create an unlimited number of memberships. So let's take a look at my first membership here. I've got a bunch of them in here that I've made, but I want to focus on just these three: bronze, silver, and gold. And you can name them anything you want, by the way. So I could have a spa within VIP, and I could have a spa within basic, or something like that. I can have a Jocelyn VIP, whatever I want, name them anything I want. So my bronze membership, I said, is free, and it lasts a year, and it gives no discounts on services, and gives no discount on retail, and you get no free comped services, and you don't even earn any services by being a member. However, you do earn points. No additional ratios, but you do earn points. So however I have set up my points program, a bronze member will get that. So by making somebody a bronze member, it's free, but they will start earning points. Now, my silver membership is a little different. I said my silver membership is $10 a month, and it gives not $2.50, it gives 2.5% off of all services, because I chose by percent. If I chose by flat amount, this would be $2.50 off all services. But I said by percentage, so it's 2.5% off all services. I've also said it does not affect the commission of my staff. If I uncheck that, it will affect the commission of your staff. I also said that a silver membership gets 2% off all retail. However, it does not earn any additional comp services, nor does it earn any regular services, and it does earn points, and it gets an additional ratio of 2 to 1, a factor of 2. What does that mean? That means that if a bronze member spent $100 and they earned 100 points, a silver member would spend $100 and earn 200 points. So they will earn, as a silver member, points twice as fast as a bronze member will earn. So they would only have to get $500 services to have 1,000 points to get a free $100 service, whereas a silver member would have to have gotten 10 of those $100 services to get those same 1,000 points to get a free $100 service. So that's a benefit of being a silver member. Let's take a look at my gold membership. My gold membership, I said, is $100 a month, and it gives a 5% discount off services, a 5% discount on retail. It also gives a free comp service. What is a comp service? Well, we all know what comp means. It means that you get it for free. And by selecting the bang trim here, what I'm saying is every gold member that walks through my door and gets a bang trim is going to get that bang trim for free automatically. Bang trims are free for my gold members. They never have to pay for them. That's a comp service. Whether they get a free bang trim every day or once a year, it doesn't matter. It's always free. Next, my points options. Yes, my gold membership earns points, and I've said my gold membership gets a 3 factor, meaning they spend $100, they're going to get 300 points if it's the same program as what you as your bronze program. So now they're going to earn points 3 times faster than a bronze membership and a 1/3 faster than a silver membership. Now I can come down here and say my gold membership also, now this is not a comp service. Remember, a comp service means they can come in every day and get a free bang trim if they wanted, but this is saying that every month, and I can choose annually, monthly, semi-annually, or weekly, but I said every month a gold member will earn 1 free French manicure worth $25. That's what they will earn every month. 1 of those. And by saying it earns it in the month of purchase, if I have that unchecked, then after they have been a gold member for 1 month, they will earn their free French manicure. But if I have it checked, then the moment they become a gold member, they get a free French manicure. So it's up to me. Am I going to force them to be a gold member for a month? Or are they simply going to, as soon as they become a gold member, get the free French manicure? That's what earns in the month of purchase means. Next, I have my services accumulate. If this is unchecked, then this means use it or lose it. Use your free French manicure in the month of October, and then you get another free one in November, and you'll have another free one in December. But if you don't use them, you just get one each month. But if I check this box that says accumulate, if they don't use their free French manicure in October, they'll have 2 to use in November. And if they don't use them in November, they'll have 3 to use in December, because they can accumulate. And by the way, I can make this number anything I want. I could have said they get 3 free French manicures a month. But I'm going to stick with 1. Okay. Then I've got, don't worry about redeemed and have values. Next, we're going to skip over here to can be redeemed towards other services. What does that mean? That means that it doesn't have to be a French manicure. They can get their $25 off value on, and they can apply it to anything. By having that checked, they could have come in and gotten a Swedish massage, or they could have gotten a cut and color, and they didn't use their French manicure, but they would like to apply the value of that against what they're actually getting. So by checking that box, it can be redeemed towards other services. Again, you'll learn about that, and we'll help you set that up, etc., in your own points program. I don't want you to think because you took this class that suddenly you know how to set up the points program and the membership program. But I want you to be familiar enough with it that you can start thinking about how you want to set up your membership and points so that you can have that in place and then contact us and take that points class or watch our points videos. Does that make sense?
Hi, Jillian.
Right.
Yes, God.
Moving on. The next thing that we're going to be talking about are promotions. Now, when everybody thinks of promotions, all they ever think about is advertising. And of course, advertising is a huge part of promotions. But what we want is the system to be aware of your promotions, whether or not your front desk staff is aware of them. So what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. I'm going to go here to Other. And I've got 4 different types of promos. I've got rewards promos, retail promos, service promos, and operator promos that I can set up here. The first 3, operator, service, and retail, are all very similar, and they apply discounts. The reward promo is very different than these 3, but let's see how they work. Let's start with operator promo. Now, I have got an operator named Abigail, and I'm going to create an Abigail promo just for her. Or maybe I don't want to do it just for her. Maybe I want to do it for a group of operators or staff members, I mean. So, but I'm going to do it for Abigail. So I think I've already done one for Abigail here. Here we go. This is my Abigail promo. I said my Abigail promo is good from October 15th of 2013 to October 31st of 2013. Obviously, it's already passed, but you put in whatever date range you want. It can just be for the weekend that's coming up, or it can be for next month or the entire month, or whatever it is. I give it a name. I put in my dates. I choose my group or groups, and all of the people that work in those groups will appear, and I choose just the operator I want to apply it to. I can then assign a discount that I've already created. Now, what if I don't have a discount already created? Then I simply go here to this button that says discount codes, and I can make one. Now, I've got one already made, like my Abigail's Irish or my Abigail or my Angie promo here. And I can say whether it's a dollar amount, 20 bucks off, or a percentage, 20% off. Does it discount everything on the ticket? Yes or no? And does it no effect on commission? Or this is no effect on commission, now it does affect their commission. And then I can use that. Once I've set it up, I can use it. I can choose whatever it is. So that means, once I save this, that during this time frame, whatever time frame I've put in, if somebody comes in and sees Abigail for anything, they're going to get 20% off automatically. Now, yes, I am going to advertise that. Of course, I'm going to send out my emails or advertise it on my radio spots or my newspaper ad, whatever it is, however you're advertising, you get to now say, hey guys, this weekend only or all of next week, Monday through Friday, if you book an appointment with Abigail, we're going to give you 20% off. And your front desk staff doesn't even have to be aware of it. If somebody walks through the door and sees Abigail during that time frame, they're going to get the automatic discount. That is an operator promotion. So I'm going to go back to other, and I'm going to go to service promotion. This is essentially the same thing, except instead of being based on an operator, it's based on a service or group of services. So I can create a brand new promotion here, and I'm going to call this my Massage June. And then I'm going to choose my from date, and I'm going to say it's from June 1st to June 31st. Whoops, that's May 31st. Let's go to June 30th. There we go. From June 1st to June 30th, and I'm going to choose my massage group. And now I'm going to say all of my massages, so I'm going to go with something like select all of my massages, but I'm going to say, you know what, not my hot stone massages. All my other ones, but not my hot stone massages. And then create a coupon code and apply it, or choose one that I've already made. So I've got one here that I've already made. I'm going to say my massage promo, and I can save it. So what that means is that if anybody walks through my door from June 1st to June 30th of 2017, and they get a massage, as long as it's not a hot stone massage, they're going to get whatever this discount is. And I believe this one's 15%. And save. Done. My June massage promo is in place. Everybody that walks through the door and gets any massage other than a hot stone is going to get 15% off. Again, now I advertise it. All massages, hot stone massages excluded, get 15% off in the month of June. And again,
Can you set up those discount codes in that same screen? Sorry to interrupt.
yes, you can set up discount codes in that same screen.
Okay.
There's another place to do it as well, but yes, you can do it right there in that same screen. Let's just go back there. There it is right there, discount codes, and you can set it up.
Oh, perfect. Okay, gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to talk about retail promos. Same thing, same concept, but this time it's on product. So I'm going to say that this is going to be my nails products promotion, and I'm going to say that it is also from June 1st. You know what? No, let's just say it's for the weekend. I'm going to say it's from May 27th to May 28th. So it's Saturday and Sunday only, and all vendors or something else. I can choose a specific vendor, or I can go with all vendors, but I'm going to say all vendors, and I can choose a specific manufacturer, or I can say all manufacturers, and a category. And my category is going to be something like nail care. And all of my nail care products will appear. Now, I've only got one in here. Maybe let's go with nail polish. I've got a whole bunch of those. All sorts of nail polishes here. I've got my OPIs. I've got my my sessions. I've got everything in here. So let's choose that one instead. And I'm going to say, yes, everything. By the way, I could have said just my OPI products by choosing OPI as my manufacturer. So maybe this is going to be a OPI promo. And then I choose my discount code. I can create it just like we showed before, or I can use one that I've already created. So let's, do I have a nails one? No, but I'll just go with my Melinda promo here. That I believe is also 15% off, and save. What does that mean? That means that if anybody walks through my door during that month and they buy a nail polish, they'll get 15% off automatically during that weekend only. So now you advertise this weekend only, all nail polishes 15% off. So you can do it by products, individual products or groups of products, categories of products, individual manufacturers, all OPI products are off, whatever it may be. And it gives you your automatic discount. So now we have our fourth and final promo, which is different. This one doesn't give discounts. This one earns points at a different factor. So I can create one like my Schools Out promo. And I can say whether it's on groups of services or individual services or on categories of products or individual products or whatever it is I want it to be. So I might say, I'm going to do it, my School's Out promo is going to be on all massages. So I'm going to load up my massages and select them all. Just massages. And then I say that it's going to give me a factor of 2 or a factor of 3 or a factor of 4. I'm going to say a factor of 2, and I'm going to say that this is for June 1st of 2017 to, I need to hit enter on that, so it'll format, there we go. Don't forget to hit enter on that, and to June 30th of 2017. I've said all massages and activate. So what have I just done? If somebody is a member and they earn points, let's say they're a bronze member, if they come in the month of June and get a massage and they spent $100, they're going to get 200 points instead of their regular 100. If they are a silver member, instead of getting 200 points, they're going to get 400. And if they are a gold member, instead of getting 300 points, they're going to get 600 because everybody's everybody's points program has just been increased by a factor of 2. That's your promo. So you could do something like, this weekend only, all Kerastos products earn triple points. This weekend only, all massages earn double points. So now you're advertising it that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Lastly, we're going to talk about something called the fortune teller. I'm going to go into reports, and I'm going to go to goals. Yes, in goals, I can set up my operator goals, daily, weekly, and monthly, and I can see where my operators actually stand based on the goals that I have set up for them. It needs to gather all of that information and pull them up. So give it just a moment. It'll do that. So remember, it's looking at every single employee, daily, weekly, and monthly. So it takes a little bit of time to pull up those goals. Usually doesn't take more than 2 minutes, so I don't mind doing it here. There it is. Okay, now I can choose someone like Christian, and I can see the goals I set up for him daily, where his actual numbers are. These are the goals I set up. These are his actual numbers and his percentage against them. If it's in blue, then that means that he's at or above where you wanted him to be. If it's in red, he's below where you wanted him to be. So his daily, his last 7 days, his last 30 days. And you can see that for any employee at any time. That's not really what I wanted to show you, though. I want to show you the fortune teller. What is the fortune teller and how does it work? Your numbers are going to look, when you go play with this after you get off this class, your numbers are going to look really different than mine. Of course they are. You're a different business. But also, this is sample data, so my numbers are going to be excruciatingly low. So don't worry about how bad this looks. But I'm going to say for all operators. So I click on all operators, and it fills in everything. And what it's saying is that I have 36 active clients, that my active client retention is 7.14%. Your number, by the way, your active client retention should be, about 60% or higher. New per month, 3.33 new customers a month. You should have at least 1 new customer for every employee. That's the industry average. So if you've got 15 employees, this number should be 15 or better. If it's not, then you should be working on that. New client retention, mine's at 0%. Your number should be between 20 and 25% or higher, of course. But 20 or 25% is the industry standard. What does that mean? That means every time you get a brand new customer, they should turn into a retained customer 1 out of every 4 or 5 customers. 20 to 25%. If you're better than that, great. But that should be your minimums that you're looking for. Frequency of visits. Mine is 4.89%. Your numbers should be normally 6 or higher. What does that mean? Frequency of visits means how often your customers are coming in a year. So if I put in a 6 there, that would mean that they're coming in every other month on average. Now, if you're trying to get your customers to come in once a month, then you want that number to be 12 because it's based on how often they're coming in a year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at these numbers here, and this is my average service ticket, my average retail ticket, my total sales, and then I'm looking at what my year is going to look like based on these numbers. So the top here are your real numbers based on your last 3 months worth of trends. That's where it's getting its information from. These numbers are your last 3 months worth of trends. So you're able to see, based on your last 3 months, what your next year is going to look like if nothing changes. And it always changes. But if nothing changes, this is what your next year should look like. That's what this is telling you on top. On the bottom, it's exactly the same numbers. The difference is this is real, and this you get to play with. So I say, you know what? I'm a hair salon, and I want my customers to be coming in at least once a month. So that new per month, my frequency of visits should not be 4.89, it should be 12. What if it was 12? What did that just do to my total sales? Great. Well, let's go back to our regular number there. That was 4.89. So now we're at $7,967 in total sales. I'm a day spa. I want my customers to come in at least once every other month. That, therefore, number should be 6. What did that do to my total sales if my customers come in that often? So I'm playing with it now. My number of active clients is 36. What if I did a little bit of advertising and I got some new customers coming in? So what if my active customers was 40? What did that do to my total sales? My active client retention, what if it was 20%? What did that do to my total sales? So start playing with your numbers. What this allows you to do before you invest your time or your effort or your money into changing these numbers, see what you're trying to go, what your goal is, and what that goal is going to really turn into for you. Your difference in sales, your difference in annual income, and your difference in percentage. In other words, you get a glimpse into the future. So if you sat down with a consultant and the consultant said, okay, let's look at your numbers. You pull up the fortune teller. These are your real numbers that affect your income. And he says, okay, if you spend $2,500 in this, doing this, A, B, and C, advertising, making a new standee display, and changing the structure there, of your staff, if you do that, you're going to spend 20 hours of your time and $2,500 of your money, then it should change these numbers to these numbers. And you put in those numbers. And then you plug in the numbers that the consultant believes that those changes you made should result in. So you plug them in and take a look. Well, I just spent $2,500 and I got $1,564 back over the course of the year. I just flushed $1,000 in the toilet. It's not worth doing. Well, that's my numbers. I've seen people who because their numbers are so big, they make a slight adjustment and it turns into an extra $10,000 a year. So you never know. Go in there, play with it, and don't make big changes. I mean, if you've got 36 active clients, don't change that to 3,600. That's not realistic. If your frequency of visits is 5, maybe see what it is, what your numbers are if it's 5.5 or 6. But don't change it from 5 to 20. That's not realistic. Make slight adjustments and see what they do to your bottom line. Sometimes you'll find out that a slight adjustment can have a dramatic impact on your bottom line. And then that's what you want to apply yourself to. So you say, you know what, guys, right now we're getting our customers to come in 12 times a year. That's great. They're coming in once a month. That's great. But if you got them to come in once every 4 weeks instead of once a month, it's almost the same. But when you book their next appointment, book it 4 weeks out. Don't book it for the same day next month. By doing that, your average customer will come in 13 times a year. Well, if you've got 3,000 customers, that would be 3,000 additional visits a year, just based on changing them from 12 times a year to 13 times a year. That can be a significant change in impact. Does that make sense?
Yes, amazing.
That is the fortune teller. I recommend that you play with it, and that is the class. Does anybody have any questions for me on anything we covered today, or something you were hoping I was going to cover that I didn't?
Not
all right. Then my next question is, and I see I've got the same people here that I had earlier, would you like me to email you a copy of this class that you just attended?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, then I'll send it to both of you. Have a very pleasant day, and once again, thank you very much for spending time with me today, because as I say always when I end my classes, the people who know the most about their software are the people who are happiest with it. So thank you again for taking the time out of your day to spend with me, and I look forward to having you in future classes. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.